So the big moment finally happened. We finally got The Fiend's big WWE return and a look at his new appearance. But before we get into that, let's go over the match from start to finish, because there was also some new things going on with Alexa Bliss. We'll also go over the situation with Randy Orton's wife and Alexa Bliss as well. So Randy Orton is out first, and his entrance is interrupted after he started coughing up the same black liquid that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. It's still not clear yet on what the liquid actually represents, but it does appear that it's coming from Alexa Bliss, especially given the fact that it's been happening over the last few weeks, where there was no Fiend and just Alexa. So it's a high possibility that Alexa is the one behind the coughing of the black liquid. But besides the actual Fiend's return, Alexa Bliss's appearance was quite different and new as well. It was sort of swept under the rug by some fans, but take a closer look at Alexa Bliss. Not only was she using another new remixed and chopped up theme song, she also had a new look herself as well. Could we label this as Alexa's fourth persona? Well, so far, she has the Funhouse Alexa, Fiend Alexa, and Goddess Alexa. But this Fastlane version of Alexa Bliss was sort of a cross between Funhouse Alexa and Fiend Alexa. A little balanced mix of both personalities, it seemed like. She had on the signature purple shirt from her usual Funhouse persona, but notice that the overalls that she was wearing wasn't the Funhouse overall. She was wearing the overall that belonged to the Fiend persona. So not only did the personas seem to be mixed together, Alexa's outfits from both personas were literally a combination and mixed together. Not only that, but her face as well. It seemed like she sort of had this Harley Quinn sort of makeup going on. Very pale face and extremely dark around the eyes, which is of course not usually how she comes out in the Firefly Funhouse persona. So even though the Fiend stole the show with his new look, Alexa had her own new look as well. Now, getting into the match, we see a perfect example of what fans have been saying. That's the fact that Alexa might have more abilities and powers than Bray Wyatt. We've seen Bray and the Fiend pull out some crazy things over the past few years, but he was never capable of some things that Alexa did in this match alone. Randy approaches Alexa's corner, and a massive wave of fire comes out of the corner. Or the even bigger moment of when Alexa dropped the stage lights by using only her head. This is just some insane supernatural abilities that not even her mentor has, so very interesting. It all goes back to that theory. Could Alexa Bliss be getting too powerful? Where's all these abilities coming from? And why isn't Bray Wyatt capable of some of the things that Alexa is doing as well? It's all great questions to ask and would make for a great storyline as well, just to see the origins of where all these abilities came from. But Alexa takes Randy Orton back into the ring, and that's when we get to the Fiend's return. We see his hand come up from the ring, his old glove and arm all burnt, and he's trying to grab Orton's leg. We see smoke come out of the hold in the ring, followed by a big burst of flames, and the Fiend finally emerges after being gone for 91 days. First thing that you'll notice is the Fiend's new mask. You see parts of the original mask, but his face being burnt so badly that it's all torn up and even scarier than he was before. He also has a new ring gear suit, and his hair is a little different as well. So the return was great. It was nice to see them still stick to the theme of fire. One of the most popular theories for the Fiend's return was that he would come back using fire, which was the same thing that originally took him out, and that turned out to be true. He came right out from the fire from underneath the ring. His mask looks perfect. The burning of the mask, all the details basically fits the description that everyone wanted to see. As far as his ring gear, it's not like he had a burnt version of his old ring gear. It's clearly new attire, which looks great and goes perfectly with his mask. But will we get an explanation on where it came from and where he's been this whole time? We'll have to see. The small plot hole that has been bothering me these last few months is Bray Wyatt. Why did he have to leave for 3 months as well? Bray Wyatt spent the better part of 2 years explaining to the audience that the Fiend and himself are two different people. Well, it feels like WWE missed the opportunity to prove that was true. If Bray Wyatt showed up unharmed on Raw the night after TLC, then that would have really been a mind-blowing moment and possibly validate Bray's claim that the Fiend and himself are two separate people. But the fact that Bray disappeared when the Fiend did makes Bray Wyatt look like a liar, and that him and the Fiend are in fact the same person. But now there's a dilemma because the Fiend is back. So, does that mean Bray Wyatt has been brought back to life too? Does ordinary Bray Wyatt appear unharmed from the fire, or does he return in a changed way as well? We see it all the time in several movies and TV shows. When characters are brought back to life, there's always warnings that they won't be their usual self when you bring them back, and that they will be much different. We already know that's true for the Fiend. Alexa brought him back, but it's clear that he's no longer the same Fiend that he was before. So, does that same idea apply to Bray Wyatt? Does he come back changed in a big way as well, or will he just pick up from where he left off at in the Firefly Funhouse? It just feels like Bray Wyatt should get a grand return like the Fiend. If WWE just magically pops up with a new Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt like nothing happened, that will be really weird. It just feels like we need an explanation and big return for Bray Wyatt, the same way that we got a big return for the Fiend. All these plot holes about Bray's disappearance could be covered up and resolved, depending on what Bray says to explain his whereabouts over the last few months. Like we mentioned before, if Bray says he was with the Fiend or anything like that, it really feels like that's going to hurt the whole idea of Bray and the Fiend being two separate people. So WWE has to be careful there when explaining why Bray Wyatt has been gone for so long. If Bray Wyatt has burn marks or anything like that on his ordinary self, that will also hurt the idea of Bray and the Fiend being two separate people. So you just have to be extremely careful with that stuff in terms of protecting the story and characters. In other news, but still related to Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton, Alexa picked up the win by sitting on top of Randy Orton for the pin. This led many people to tag Randy Orton's wife in pictures of the pinfall and closing moments of the match. Kim Orton actually responded to the pinfall on Twitter by tagging Alexa Bliss and saying that she messed up. But Kim used a much stronger word than messed. The pinfall was the talk of Twitter, with everyone joking about an Alexa versus Kim Orton match. But that pinfall just fits Alexa's character better. It doesn't really fit for that sort of character to lean over Orton and hook his leg. It just fits the character more for her to just sit on him for the cover. But it was still the talk of Twitter and obviously on the mind of Kim Orton as well. What are your thoughts on the Fiend's WWE return at Fastlane and Kim Orton calling out Alexa Bliss? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.